Hello everyone and welcome to week 5 of my own personal journey of the Artist Way. If you don't know the book, I'm talking about this one. It's an amazing course that teaches you how to be your ultimate creative self and how to overcome creative's block. And you don't have to be blocked in order to do these steps, in order to follow the weeks, in order to follow the program. And I don't particularly think I was blocked at the beginning of this series. And I'm doing this series, if you're new here, as a way to keep accountable to myself. This week, particularly, was about recovering a sense of possibility, the possibility of how it would be when you are your greatest artist self. And I think the main takeaway from this week was the fact that I was able, and I was asked actually, and I was able as well, to spend some time doing nothing. I know, it doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but I realized while spending some time doing nothing that I felt very guilty that I was slacking or that I was not spending the time that, I don't know, is required for you to produce something of value. And I started to think, like, where did this come from? And I think the answer is pretty obvious. I was raised with a mentality and in a system that you have to produce. You have to produce good grades. You have to, actually, before you start to produce good grades, when you're a baby even, you have to achieve certain milestones that babies achieve. For example, you have to stop wearing a pacifier at a certain age, which for me, it was very hard because I really loved my pacifier. I do remember that. You have to stop believing in Santa Claus at a certain age. Like, you have to, at some point, start producing good grades. There are these certain established rules that you have to follow, and your entire life is based on these rules. And because of this, we are meant to believe later when we enter the workforce that everything is about results. And the faster you're able to produce the results, the better a worker you are. And I feel like art, yes, of course, you can train yourself to be a productive artist. But I think the word in itself, productive artist, is kind of harmful because by spending some time alone, you allow yourself, your brain, to reset and to come up with even better ideas. So if you do want to be a good artist, I think the best thing that you can do is to spend some time resting. To spend some time resting there with yourself, with your ideas, and getting to really know you. And it was hard for me, as I said before, because I felt guilty that I was doing nothing. But as soon as I spent some time alone doing nothing, I realized that there is this sort of crazy monkey, the monkey mind, crazy monkey inside me wanted to do something. And I would get even more creative about what it is that I really want to do. I came up with a bunch of ideas, and I think that really sparked my imagination. So I think that this week, that's a main takeaway from me. Like, I think that every artist needs to spend some time by themselves doing nothing, just resetting their artist brain. And of course, nothing would be complete without the basics, because the basics of every week here with the Artist Way is to do the morning pages, which, if you don't know, basically is to write 3 pages in the morning of brain dump. You wake up and the first thing you do is writing. And at the beginning, I found that I wrote about I didn't know what to write. I used to write about my job, or maybe a little bit my dreams, which they're very important for me, and there will be another video about that, I think. And yeah, but as the time went on, I realized I started to tap into this core of me, into this self that is always there, but that is kind of pure, without all of this I don't know, this idea of these constructs that have been put on me by the society or anything is completely pure, and it has been like that ever since I was born, I guess. And the more I wrote, the more I started to tap with this and even have conversations with this sort of higher self, so to say. And I feel like writing is no longer a practice for me to stop having a creative block. It's a tool of self-discovery of who I really am. And this is the bare minimum, you know. After that, another thing that you're supposed to do always is your artist date, to go about town or do something creative by yourself. I was planning, as the previous week suggested, to go on a trip by myself, but it kind of coincided with St. Valentine's, so in the end I ended up going with my boyfriend to this place. It's a wonderful witches theme park, and I had a lot of fun. And the best thing was, it was the last days of winter, so it was like the last snow, and it was like a wonderful farewell to winter, and I really love winter. Of course, now we're in spring, but I don't know, it felt magical. It feels like the more I spend doing this, the more I believe in synchronicities, and I truly believe that this was the winter saying goodbye and see you next. Actually, I'm gonna see winter twice this year because I'm going to my hometown, which is in the other hemisphere. So my home country, sorry. So yeah, I guess it's see you later, maybe. A different type of winter, the southern hemisphere winter. And yeah, I might see the snow twice this year. So it was fantastic. It really made me feel great to say goodbye to nature like this and to observe the seasons, really. And I was invited also this weekend to a salsa party, and I went to a salsa party. I had never liked salsa in my life. I'm from a Latin American country, and I feel like it is in a way part of our culture, maybe like generalized, like all of the areas dances salsa in a way, but I never felt attracted to take this type of dance. And this was the first time I was invited to a place like this, so I decided to go. And I realized, because you know, this was out of my comfort zone, that the more you go out of the comfort zone, the more confidence you harvest. And this made me feel really confident about myself. Even though it's not my cup of tea, I had fun. I even learned a little bit of cha-cha-cha, which is my first time trying, actually. I had wonderful fun. And this is just, as I said, and as I mentioned before, the bare minimum. If you do these things, I think you will become a completely different person. You will be a completely different human being if you just do the morning pages and the artist stage. Actually, you just have to do the morning pages, and your complete perspective of life will change. And this is what has happened to me. I'm a changed woman, and I believe now that I have this intimate connection with a creative force that in the book they call it God, of course. You can call it the universe, you can call it whatever you want. But I do believe, after doing the morning pages, only that. And even if I don't follow any of the other advice in the the artist way, I'm sure that I will be completely changed by the end of the year just because of the morning pages. So yeah, if you don't want to commit, or if you don't want to do something like this, I really advise you to just try the morning pages, because it's a complete game changer. So if you like this video, remember to subscribe and click the bell for notifications, and I hope to see you on week 6. Let's see what that week will bring for us, okay? Bye bye everyone.